I'm Captain Genway, and today I wanted to do an honest review of, I wanted to say my own book. I've done this a couple times. I don't know if I've released the second one yet, depends when I release this, but I've been doing honest reviews of my own work. And then I will be doing honest reviews of other books as well coming up, and movies and stuff like that with Sean. But today I have a very important honest review to do. I'm an author, and some books I wrote by myself, others were co-authored with my dad. And if you saw my honest review for Standardized People, I'll put that link down below if you haven't. My first book I ever wrote was with my dad. We wrote it together, and it's one of the greatest achievements of both of our lives that we wrote that together. So happy that I could do that with him. But my dad's final book that he was writing, he didn't get to finish, and he was pretty much doing it on his own. Admittedly, he asked me to be a bigger part of it than I was, but I was so busy, as we tend to get in life, that I didn't give it enough. I wasn't a part of it. I was, oh yeah, I'll get to it. I'm living with that regret right now that I wasn't a bigger part of it, but at the same time, I came through in the end when he needed me most and didn't know that he would. He didn't get to finish it before he passed away. He was in the middle of translating this and hadn't put it fully together, and it didn't include certain things that it needed. So me, my mom, and my brother, we all put it together for him in the end, and I got it published on Amazon, and it is right here. This is the most important book that my family has ever produced, and it will likely be the most important book that we ever produce in our entire lives, because this is not fiction. This isn't fiction at all. This is my grandfather's diary. My grandfather was a survivor of the Holocaust concentration camps. He was at Ingram, and he managed to survive. Spoiler alert, I guess. He survived, but he kept a diary while he was in the camps. Guys, I don't know if you realize that that's not something that people could do. Like, your life was in danger for even having your own paper. Like, when you read this, you'll see he wrote this while he was in the camps. That's insane, incredible, heartbreaking. Yeah. So today's honest review isn't going to really be in the same way, I guess, as the others. It'll have a couple of lighthearted moments, but today's honest review is real. That's all I can say, is that it's real. And the greatest thing about this book is that every entry that he wrote was basically a here's what's happening, but also a love letter to my grandmother. They married shortly before they were taken away, and they were separated, and they didn't know if they'd ever see each other again. But he kept his faith in knowing that he would see her again. He wavered a little on it. He wasn't sure, but as you read it, you'll get the heartbreak that he went through, but also the resilience that he had to have. I am so proud to be this man's granddaughter. Like, I'm tearing up right now just thinking about it. I am so proud to be the granddaughter of two super strong people that could make it through something like that and still have the ability to smile after. My grandmother also survived the camps. I mean, kind of obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be here, but I'm a walking spoiler for this book, guys. I really want to tell you about this book more than anything, especially now. One of the things that my dad kept saying when he was writing this book, translating and putting it together, he kept saying, never let it happen again. Never let it happen again. He was almost like, you know, in The Shining, how they would write things, the guy would write things on the wall, and he was like kind of like crazed about this one phrase, like all work, no play or whatever. that's kind of how my dad was about Never Let It Happen Again. But instead of like turning into a horror movie, it was more like a peaceful kind of phrase, I guess. That was a horrible analogy, I'm sorry. But my dad wrote it on everything. Never let it happen again. Never let it happen again. And he was right. He was so right to be so emphatic about it, you know? Just like, is that the right word? Anyway, he was correct. He could see it happening again, and he just desperately wanted it to never happen again. And that's why he put every ounce that he had into this in his last remaining years on this planet, which we didn't know were going to be his last remaining years. But if you're going to leave a legacy, this is a really good one. And I am more than proud to be the reason that it is in my hand right now, to be one of the reasons. Me, my mom, my brother. My dad did most of the work. And he would be so happy to see this. Not even like, he would be so happy to see it. But he'd also be really sad because not enough of the people that need to read it have read it. Not because we want to be millionaires or anything. It's because this is so important to read. So I'm going to read you the back as part of this honest review. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on the composition. And then we're going to talk about the subject. And yay, honest review. What if there was a love so great that it could keep two people together through the worst times imaginable? The year is 1944. The place is Eastern Europe. The skies are black with ash, and the ground is stained with blood and tears. A husband and wife are separated by the Nazi regime and sent off to the concentration camps, likely to never see each other again. Yet in the face of unimaginable trauma, they refuse to let go of each other. Andor Vermes risked everything to keep a diary in the concentration camps, not to write an accurate account of what he was experiencing, but to write to his love, Magdalena, in the hopes that someday they would be reunited. These letters are real. The events they describe are gruesome, horrifying, and heart-wrenching, but they cannot be denied. This was Europe in 1944 for the Jewish people. This was Andor and Magdalena's third year of marriage. This was life as they knew it. What would you say to the one you love if it might be the last letter you ever get to write? That's powerful, right? I mean, if the back of a book doesn't get you like that, I mean, I don't know what will. And I'm not just saying that because I wrote the back, but it's true. I can't imagine what they went through, but this is the closest thing that I have to being able to do that. And it's just so important, so important. But let me give this an honest review. Let me tell you about the cover and the composition. So honestly, I have nothing bad to say about the cover. It was a little haphazard in how it was made. It was very last minute, but I'm very, very happy with it. I will pop a picture up close right here. It includes the backdrop of the cover is an actual picture of his handwritten diary. So I took that picture and I overlaid it with a train track. And then I included 3 very edited photos, but they were all photos that I took. These aren't photos from Europe. These aren't photos from the camps. These are actually photos from a little tiny city just south of me. I was just like, I have an idea for a cover. Mom, let's drive around. Let's go do this. She came to visit me for the weekend, and I did the cover in about an hour. It's what I do. I'm so proud of this cover because I think it really just pulls at the emotions just to look at it. Now, these photos aren't as relevant as I wish they were, but I can't get to Europe to take them, and I didn't want to steal somebody else's picture. So I did what I could, but I'm very, very proud of how this cover came out. So the back cover, because, you know, Amazon, it had to be pretty simple, so it's just a little black. And then it's actually, here, I'll post a picture here. That's actually me wearing my dad's necklace and overlaid over a picture of a chimney, which, if you know anything about the Holocaust, is a pretty graphic picture, actually, but I felt like it was important. So compositionally, the beginning is, most of the book is the translation of the diary entry and then a picture of the actual diary entry. So that gives you a sense of, wow, this really was handwritten by somebody, not just reading like text typed out on a page, you know? So that's something. And just being able to see the handwriting, like, let me see, there you go. See, there's a translation right there, and then the handwriting right here. It's incredible, guys. Looking at it gives me chills. And then after my grandfather's part of the book is finished, it goes into an essay by me, just as a way to bridge between my grandfather's entry and then the surprise bonus at the end, and also to relate it to now. I'm the writer in the family as well as my dad, and so I was kind of charged with the task of writing this small minor piece to bring it into the current mind. But it segues into a beautiful and terrible surprise at the end that you don't really know by reading the back that you're gonna get. But my grandmother's account is in here as well. She didn't keep a diary in the camps. She actually relived it 25 years later and wrote the whole thing out. I cannot imagine what she went through to do that. But I'm so grateful that she did, because it's so important that she did that. Like, when you read it, you'll even understand that how did she relive that? I would have loved to, take a blue pill like in the Matrix and just forget that it ever happened. But she was brave, and she relived it so that someday somebody could know what happened, so that it would never happen again. Now, a lot of the books that I have on these honest reviews are lighthearted, they're superheroes, they're mysteries, they're, poetry. There's nothing lighthearted about this. This is the most weighted heart I've ever experienced. Sean doesn't like to physically read. He much prefers like audio, but this isn't an audiobook format yet. I need to find a male voice that knows how to properly pronounce Hungarian. That's gonna be a little hard. But I actually read it out loud to him just so that he could have the experience. He was blown away by this. It is, I want to say, not well written, but it was a diary that was written in haste, and it was translated from Hungarian to English, and some of the translations were impossible to get. So, and even a couple of pages weren't translated before it got published, so we had to seek out help from other people because my dad wasn't here anymore to finish the translation. So this isn't Hemingway as far as like a good, like, straight through read. It's a little difficult, but it's real. It's real, it's raw, it's as close as you're gonna get to truly understanding what went on. This has not been touched by a publishing company. This has not been approved by anyone. We changed nothing. These are his actual words. We have the actual diary in a safe. So it's put away, and one day it would be cool if it was displayed in a museum or something, maybe. I don't know. I don't really know what my dad intended with it. But this, you can read it anytime you want. I recommend cake or cookies or wine or something that, you remember in Harry Potter when the Dementors came and he got really, really cold and chilly and upset, and they gave him chocolate and it made him feel better? It's kind of like that. This is going to like remove your good feelings as you read it. So just have I ate a lot of cake, okay, is what I'm saying. I ate so much cake when I was publishing this, because you can get through a couple entries and then you kind of have to put it down and say, oh my goodness, I didn't know. And I think that was the biggest thing. Oh my goodness, I didn't know. And I grew up in a family where we talked about this. I am the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. I lived with one for most of my childhood. My grandmother lived in my house after they immigrated to the U.S., and I have some grandmother stories too. Like she was something, guys. But she lived with me from early childhood till I was 19. And she anyway, we talked about these kind of things, and I'm grateful to have had the firsthand stories, and I'm grateful to be able to give them to you. I never got to know my grandfather. He died when my dad was 4. He had a blood clot and passed away, and they suspect it was from the stress of being in the camps. So just because you didn't die in the camps doesn't mean it didn't kill you, is what I take from that. But apparently he is where I get my musical talent from, so forever grateful, kind of living on through me, I guess. So is my dad, in so many ways. But this is the closest thing I'll ever get to knowing my grandfather, and on one hand, that sucks. Like, the only thing I know about him is this horrifying thing that he went through. But at the same time, I got to know that my grandfather was strong, resourceful, faithful, loving, and just where I get my goodness from, and I have to know it. What a human being. I can't wait for you guys to get to know him, and my dad, and my grandmother. I'm really getting choked up, oh my goodness. But I'm not saying that you have to buy this book because I want to sell books. If I wanted to sell books, I would have gone out on book tours, I would have done this and this and this. No, I still can barely afford groceries, y'all. But I need you to read this. I absolutely need you to read this. My dad needs you to read this because it is so important. Because these things, we think that they don't happen anymore, but they do. We think that it can't happen again, but it is. But it can and it will. And this isn't a political statement. I am talking about history, and I am talking about life. It's not political. It's my grandfather's life. And now more than ever, this is the most important thing I could put out there. So thank you guys for listening and considering getting this. I wanted to leave you with an entry. I wanted to read one of these entries to you. It's one of the most beautiful entries in this entire... I know, you probably think, like, how can there be a beautiful entry in one of these, right? January 1st, 1945. New year. What will this year bring, and will there be, apart from this one, another year for you and I? I do not know, but I hope there will be. For some magical reason today, we were not required to march out to work. All morning, I was laying down and thinking of you. I see your sweet little face, your brown eyes, pressed together lips. I see you. I see you because you live inside me. You move, you speak, and you encourage me to persevere. It is true that it is only the knowledge that holds me back from everything, that I believe and feel that you are alive and love me. I hope you are alive. There's more to that entry, but I cannot read it without crying, so I won't. But that's probably the most beautiful entry in this whole book. January 1st, 1945. And that entry was 2 months or a month and a half into his experience. We want to call it an experience. I hate that this happened, but I believe that I have a purpose in making sure that people know that it happened and people understand how it happened and they understand the consequences of something like this happening. This absolutely happened. And yeah, this is the hardest video I've ever made for this channel. If you're interested in picking up this book, it is available on Amazon. It is available in Kindle format. Please, if you do read it in Kindle format, read it with a white background, no other color. It has some issues in like placement when it comes to other colors. I just have to say that. There's part of my honest review. There's some issues in the Kindle version about like placement of the picture versus the text, and I had to put numbers in, but they're white. Just read the white version, okay? Just like the white background version. Yikes. So it is available on Kindle. It is also available in paperback. I do also have some copies with me, but with how the mail is right now, I assume getting it from Amazon is probably the easiest thing. They're not very expensive. I think it's $4.99 for the Kindle version and $11.99 for the physical copy. So it depends how you like your books. I prefer them paperback, but I'm a little old school, so I get you. If you do get it, please let me know and let me know what you think, and loan it to somebody. Post about it so that other people pick it up. Read it to someone. I don't even care if you loan it to someone who loans it to someone who loans it to someone, and I never see a dime, but everyone reads it. That's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. If anyone is a filmmaker and wants to turn this into a movie with me, please inquire with me. Message me, and maybe we can get this going. I don't know. That's something my dad would have wanted to. So, thank you for being with me on this incredibly wordy and not very well thought out video. There's my other honest review. This video sucks. But this one was hard to plan out. I just had to speak. So, it is available on Amazon. Hopefully you guys pick it up and then let me know what you think. I really enjoy doing these honest reviews. This one I kind of put off because I knew it was going to be hard, but today's that day. Today's the day to do it. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. I feel so weird saying that now, but please subscribe to this channel. There's lots of not depressing stuff on this channel as well as this. I do have like, there's a review of this book, Standardized People. There's also a review, they're all like right next to me. There's also a review of Pathways, which I can't get right now because it's buried, but that's going to be on the website or on YouTube soon if it's not already. Hit the thumbs up button if you are proud of me for getting through this without crying. How about that? But yeah, thank you so much for being a part of this family on this channel and for listening today. And I really hope you pick up Letters from Camp. I don't even think I ever said the title of the book. Lord, what is wrong with me? Letters from Camp by Andor Vermes, or Andor Vermes, however you want to say it. It's a long story. He's listed as the author, even though we were the ones coming in at the end. This is his project, and it will forever be his legacy and his father's legacy. So, Letters from Camp, pick it up on Amazon, share it with people that you know. There has never been a more important time. So, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video, which will maybe feature me doing some kind of workout in a costume or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.